Hello and welcome back to Hollow Acres. Today for dinner I'm going to be roasting a turkey, not because it is Thanksgiving or some special occasion. It's just a random Sunday in April. And I really think that it's about time that we normalize eating turkey year-round, not just for special occasions. Now the turkey that I'm going to be making today is a 15-pound store-bought butterball turkey. This is not one of the turkeys that we raised here on our homestead. Now, as we all know, it takes 3 to 5 hours to roast a turkey, so I need to go ahead and get started. Once I open and rinse off the turkey, I'm going to place it in my large turkey roaster. I feel like there might be another word for it, but I'm just going to go with turkey roaster. I'm going to let it sit for just a few minutes while I mix up my butter and herb seasoning. In a small bowl, I take 1 stick of butter and I soften it in the microwave. For me, this took about 18 seconds. Now, I don't want the butter to be melted. I want it to be spreadable. In my bowl, I'm going to be adding the following seasonings. I stir it all together until it's well incorporated, and now it is time to add it to the turkey. Before I can apply my butter seasoned mixture, what I need to do is break the skin away from the meat of the turkey. I'm going to be shoving the butter in between the meat and skin layers. This is going to help to not only flavor the bird, but also crisp up the skin real well. Now I want to put a little note here. The butter would stick to the turkey much better if I were to dry the outside off with a paper towel. However, I don't have a paper towel. I do not buy paper towels anymore. So that's just not an option, which is totally fine. It's still going to cook the same. Well, maybe that's not entirely true. The skin might be a little crisper if I dried it first. Not a big deal. Now, because this is not a Thanksgiving turkey, I will not be stuffing it with stuffing. Instead, I will be stuffing it with an onion, rosemary, and thyme. I'm going to take 1 small onion, cut it in wedges, and lay it inside of the turkey. I will then be taking fresh rosemary and fresh thyme and shoving some of that up in there too. With the remaining thyme and rosemary, I'm going to sprinkle it on top of the bird in the pan because all the juices that are going to drop off of the turkey, I will be turning into a turkey gravy. And I like a good flavored turkey gravy. Now the turkey is ready to go in the oven. I'm going to roast it at 325 degrees for between 3 and 5 hours, basting every hour to hour and a half in between. Now the turkey is in the oven. It has been cooking for about 1 hour and 45 minutes. I went ahead and basted the turkey 1 time. Now I'm going to get started on the sides. One can't simply have a turkey and not have sides to go with it. For the sides, I am going to be making buttery dinner rolls, a vegetable of some kind, either green beans or peas. My green beans aren't coming in from the garden yet, so I don't have any fresh ones. Mashed potatoes and turkey gravy. So we are going to have a very good Sunday dinner that will not only be a good family dinner for tonight, but we will be eating off of this turkey for 5 to 7 days, for at least this week. So that is really helpful for me as it is testing week for school this week. I'm not going to have to figure out lunch or dinner. I'm going to get that done today. You know, while I'm at it, I might make a pie crust because turkey pot pie does sound pretty good. That feels like a Wednesday dinner. Now it is Sunday, and on Sundays I do my meal planning and planning for school for the week. I do need to figure out meals to make this turkey into for the week. And I guess I might as well I'm already baking and I'm making things and I'm already making the house hot, so I might as well go ahead and make muffins too. I don't know. Let's see where it goes from here. First, I need to get started on the dinner rolls because they take about 3 hours. Everything delicious takes time. Everything takes 1 hour to 3 hours. Okay, I'm going to stop babbling. Let's get started on the dinner rolls. The first thing that I'm going to do is take a 1/2 cup of warm water, roughly around 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Into my water, I am going to be adding 2 tablespoons of active dry yeast and 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to put this mixture in my microwave in a warm, draft-free place for 7 to 10 minutes for the yeast to rise. While I am waiting on my yeast mixture to rise, I'm going to go ahead and get all of my dry ingredients in a bowl off to the side, ready to go. In my bowl, I will be adding 6 cups of flour, a 1/3 cup of sugar, 1 heaping tablespoon of salt, a half tablespoon of baking powder. Then I'll mix it together and put it aside. Now that the yeast mixture has risen, I'm going to add it into my KitchenAid mixer bowl, along with 2 cups of warm milk, a 1/4 cup of butter, and 1 egg. Now it is time to add my dry ingredients to my wet ingredients. First, I'm going to add about 3 cups of the flour mixture into my liquid mixture. I like to start out mixing this by hand so that I can get it to start coming together and incorporating before I turn on the mixer. Then I will continue adding the flour mixture a 1/2 cup-ish at a time until the dough comes together and pulls away from the sides. Now that the dough is starting to pull away from the sides of the bowl, I'm going to set my timer for 6 minutes and knead this dough for 6 minutes. Adding a tablespoon or so of flour at a time to ensure that the dough isn't sticking to the bowl. I need it to knead the dough. Now that the dough has kneaded for 6 minutes, I will turn off the mixer and transfer the dough to my oiled bowl. I am now going to cover my bowl with cling wrap. You can use cling wrap or you can use a moist kitchen towel. I'm going to place this bowl to rise in my microwave for an hour. It is a warm, draft-free place, and right now my oven is occupied. So I will be back with you in about an hour once the dough has risen double its size. We will then start forming our dinner rolls. It is now much later. Dinner has been eaten and put away, and we have leftovers for the entire week. I meant to come back on here and end the video earlier, but my husband brought home 3 or 4 bushes of rosemary. So I have spent the last few hours hanging them around my house and filling my dehydrators. And it smells lovely in here. Between the turkey dinner and the rosemary hanging around, it feels like fall. Down below in the description, I will be leaving the recipes for my roasted turkey as well as my buttery dinner rolls. Both of these are no-fail recipes in my opinion. It took me a long time to perfect them. They are perfected, and now I am going to be sharing them with you. But before I sign off today, I did want to talk really briefly about why I think that turkeys should be eaten more often than just Christmas and Thanksgiving. First of all, there is way more meat on a turkey than there is on a chicken. Of course, turkeys are not sold in stores year-round. In order to get turkey in April, you either have to get it on sale in the winter time or around Thanksgiving, put it in the freezer, and then cook it whenever you're ready. Or you have to raise your turkeys. Now, last year we purchased 8 turkeys. We were only able to harvest 2 of them because either a fox or a bobcat came and killed everything, all of my birds, chickens, ducks, and turkeys. So currently right now we don't have any fowl, any birds. We're not raising any meat at this moment. It is quite the downer, but I want to make sure that I have a predator-proof area for any birds that I do get, for any meat that we're going to be raising, because it's a lot of money and time and effort put into those things, and I don't want some bobcat just running off with them. Also, turkey meat is extremely versatile. You don't have to roast the entire bird. You can cut it into sections and say take the breast and roast that into sandwich meat. You can take the legs and fry them, and you have fried turkey legs. Turkey goes with just about every vegetable. And turkey meat is extremely nutritious. Turkey meat is high in protein, has vitamin B, and minerals like magnesium and phosphorus, which is good for bone health, strong teeth, strong bones. The vitamins and proteins in the turkey meat help to build and repair muscles. Turkey meat is also great for your nervous system. It's got iron, I think I already said potassium, zinc, vitamin B. I think I'm just rambling at this point. My point is turkey meat is so good for you. There's a lot of it per bird. And my most favorite thing of all, it lasts for about a week. I'll have about 5 to 7 days of leftovers from one bird. And from the leftovers, I can make things like turkey pot pie, turkey sandwiches, turkey roasted carrots, and so on. There's so many things that I can make. Now back to raising turkeys for a moment. I did find it relatively easy to raise turkeys. We had no problems. They were all friendly. They enjoyed hugs and being pet, and chickens don't like to be pet or given hugs or any of that. And turkeys are they're like the dogs of the bird world. We loved having turkeys. And in the future, we will be getting more. But of course, not until I'm able to properly predator-proof an area, because I don't want to lose them again. Well, that is all that I have for today's video. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me all day long while I made turkey and I made buttery dinner rolls. I made cookies that you didn't see, multiple sides. We had a really good dinner tonight. I will also be creating or putting out recipes based on leftover turkey that is not Thanksgiving food. So stay tuned and look forward to those coming. Well, I'm ready for bed now. Thanks again for hanging out. I'll see you next time. And last thing before I sign off, would you like to see the rosemary that I have hung in my kitchen? That is making it smell like fall and deliciousness.